kids are just
Well, we all know that natural disasters happen everywhere, even in the state of Nebraska. And last year there were over 300 of those. And when a natural disaster happens, who do we always see there helping and volunteering? It's the American Red Cross. Here to tell us about some training sessions for new disaster volunteers, I want to say good morning to Rochelle Lipker, the Executive Director. Thank you for sharing your time with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite.
This is very important to talk about. Red Cross is offering specialized training sessions for new disaster volunteers. It's a disaster boot camp. You know, and you've been with the Red Cross for 7 years now, working for them.
Yes.
You've been on these natural disasters that have happened. Wow. Tell us what happens when you go.
Yeah. So the Red Cross, on average, responds to about 60,000 disasters each and every year. Here locally in central and western Nebraska, it's about every other day. And most of those disasters are home family fires. And so what we're going to do is we're going to offer training to our volunteers so they can become trained responders to go provide help and hope to those who have been affected. And if our volunteers want to deploy nationally to some of the bigger disasters, they can definitely do that. And so we provide all the training. And so next Saturday, the 25th, we're going to be at the Kearney office, and we're going to provide the training to you all day. And you'll get to meet other volunteers. You'll get to meet staff members. It's just a great day.
Yeah, I think we have some video or pictures of some of those natural disasters that have happened here in Nebraska. I mean, yeah, we talked, you know, the big fire that was out west, you know, this fall. I mean, look at that. When you go to these, Rochelle, how many people do you need to respond when you go to something like these? You know,
it really depends. Each disaster is very different. And so how many volunteers we need to respond really depends on the disaster. So when we go to, for example, a home family fire, we need 2 disaster volunteers to go and respond.
And what will they be doing when they're there?
So what they do is they provide help and hope. And what we do is we first and foremost make sure everybody's okay. Did everybody make it out? And then we provide immediate financial assistance. And so we want to make sure they have a place to stay that night. And all this training is provided, and they'll get that next Saturday.
Oh, your heart must just, I mean, it's almost bittersweet. You know, it's bittersweet going to these, but then must burst once you're there in joyfulness because of knowing what you can do for these people.
Absolutely. It is a very rewarding experience. Yes. And so, you know, we need volunteers each and every day, and we need to have people trained before the disaster strikes. So that's why it's so important that we have these boot camps.
So what's going to, when volunteer, and tell us about the requirements, age, limitations, and what's going to happen at the boot camp?
Yeah, actually, volunteers can come in at as young as 18. We have a lot of college students who come and volunteer. Really, we just want you to have a heart to help other people. So we have lots of volunteer opportunities, and maybe the disaster field isn't for you. Maybe you want to greet people at a blood drive, or maybe even sort T-shirts and help behind the scenes, all the way to doing interviews on TV. So there is a spot for almost everybody at the American Red Cross. And so to become a disaster volunteer or a volunteer on any level, you can go to redcross.org and click on the volunteer link and start your application.
Do you go to a lot of the disasters that happen around the area?
So, you know, 90% of our workforce are volunteers. So it's our volunteers that go out, and, you know, they're the ones who are trained. And, you know, it's not like you're going to get a call every single day to respond, but it is nice to have trained volunteers who are ready, willing, and able to go and have everything they need to respond to those disasters.
Do they need to know CPR? Is that part of the training?
You know, so it's not part of the training, but if once you become a Red Cross volunteer, we can totally set you up into a CPR class and make sure that you have all the training that you feel is needed to respond. And we don't just train you in one day and say, okay, here you go. We assign another volunteer that you get to go with, and that's kind of your mentor. And so there's a great support system within the Red Cross.
For people that may be, some elderly person watching and can't get out and do things, is there something they can do at home for the Red Cross?
Absolutely. We have tons of things that people can do right from the comfort of your own home, in your pajamas if you want to,
Yes.
And so, we have a lot of things that are done on the computer. So we really like people to be, computer savvy or be willing to learn. And so that's the biggest key, is just the willingness to learn and try something new.
Yeah. Because you never know who you're going to be able to help in the future, if it's from a personal experience that you're going to carry forward and continue to volunteer, or if it's something now that you just want to go on and you have the time to volunteer. The American Red Cross is a place to do it. So again, how do they get in touch about the boot camp coming up?
So the boot camp, reach out to Marion McDermott. You can email her at marion.mcdermott@redcross.org. Actually, if Saturday opens up, next Saturday opens up, and you're like, hey, I'm free, I can go, just show up to the Red Cross building. It starts at 9, and we're located at 520 West 48th Street, up by Target and that area. So yeah.
Well, thank you for all your years of helping people and volunteering and encouraging others to do what you have been doing for the right reasons. So thank you, Rochelle.
Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. And friends, we'll be right back. Stay with us.